Um, it it's a great accolade, personal accolade, but like me and Coach talked about earlier on, it's just one of those things that happen when you play the right way for a certain amount of time, and it's something that happens along the quest of trying to get to where you want to get to. It's fine to look back on years down the line, but the ultimate goal is to win these 4 games.
I was looking at UIC, in the two regular season games, you had to carry a lot of the offensive burden. Do you feel now with Darius back and the way the other guys, Michael and Garrett, have really kind of stepped up their game since those two, that it's a little bit more balanced now and maybe a little less pressure on you offensively?
Definitely. I do believe that because of those last 2 games and the way that I played then, that UIC may make some adjustments and try to at least clog the lane when I catch the ball, but it'll be a lot harder considering the way Mike has played, the way Shamar steps up at times, G's consistency on the defense and the offensive end, and obviously having DQ back is going to be hard for them to string the floor.
How confident is this group right now, Naz?
Um, I would say we're locked in. Like we know, we feel as if we're one of the top teams in the tournament, despite the seeding and wherever it is. And a lot of teams really don't want to see us. We're coming off winning 6 out of the last 7, and we feel like we're all gelling at the right times. We just had 2 great back-to-back practices where the scout team has competed just like the first team, and it's been high level.
Naz, your relationship with Garrett and the way you guys have played off of one another all year, is that just the culmination of 4 years of playing together? Is it a culmination of your friendship and just the way you can feed one another? Just the way you've been able to feed him on that backdoor cut outside of the game winner that happened earlier in the year at Wright State. It's become a thing of science right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. We got here 4 years ago, and we're kind of like opposites. And it's weird that they say opposites attract, but we in that dorm room of Cafaro, we got real close with one another. And he was a guy who came from a program that was very much like mine in high school, so he was used to playing a style of basketball that I was used to, and I used to be him, the guy who back cut it when somebody drove the ball. So he know how to do it, and he's tried to teach other guys. But I know now, whenever 2 people commit, he's gonna be back there.
That's how difficult has this been? Maybe that's not the right word, but with no fans, I mean, you guys are playing well, and you like to have that backing, but you have to generate your own energy.
It's been a process all year. It's something that we definitely had to get used to. Considering when we got here 3 years ago, Coach talked about building a program, getting fans in the building, and at the end of last year, we seen what it looked like with the house almost packed. So just getting young guys to understand every day that you have to be able to get yourself to go above and beyond without having that extra push from the crowd or anything like that. So difficult, I wouldn't say the word because at the end of the day, it's still basketball and there's 10 guys that have to compete on the floor. But at times you miss just having that atmosphere like we had that time when we beat Wright State at home.
How fortunate are you and your teammates to have played this season? Get 25 games in. I mean, back in November, no one kind of knew what was going on. You guys were paused, so to get a complete season in.
We're extremely grateful. That's one thing we talk about daily. Like some guys are gonna have attitudes, ups and downs, just without going through the season because it is difficult. Especially like when we went out in November, we didn't know how many games we would have got in at all. But to play 25 regular season games and have a 26 guaranteed to play the tournament, we're very fortunate. There's a lot of teams who've only played about 10, and the coaches did a great job with scheduling and getting us right to be able to be in the building. So just being grateful every day that we can still practice and be around each other.
What's been the difference for you this season, and as consistent as you've been, and been able to add to your scoring ability, and even even more of a leader as far as being able to pass, and always been able to rebound. Has there been any one difference in how well you've played this year, each game, night in and night out, as opposed to your first 3 seasons?
I would just say desperation in a sense. Like going into the year, we knew everything wasn't promised. Despite the NCAA giving us our year back, we've been on a 4 year plan to try to turn this place around and to win now. So coach talked to me before the year about what he wanted me to do and how to take the next step. So I stepped into that role and I accepted it. Whatever he wanted me to do, I was going to do. And then when Darius left because of his ankle, I felt that much more of what I had to do to try to get the young guys to know we can get through it because when he does get back, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And pretty much that. I wouldn't say it's a single thing other than that. And trying to win, being motivated of doing something here that nobody's ever done, and that's go to the NCAA tournament.
Because with that being said, and I know there's still a tournament game and whatever, but have you thought about next year with the free year? Will you come back next year, or will you think about that in the off season?
That's something that's always in the back of your head, but I kind of put it on the back burner to try to focus on the now and focus on the present. That's what me and Coach Calhoun talked about pretty much 2 or 3 weeks ago in his office, and I'm in it for the long run with the guys who I've been around for 2 years, 3 years. The guys who've been around me this year. So we have a job here to do. Coach signed on for 5 more years because the job hasn't been done yet. So
And then, the women are playing before you guys, so the excitement on campus of having both teams having both hosting the first round tournament game.
it's real exciting. Like we get excited with double headers. Sometimes guys don't like waiting around, but we love to see the girls compete ahead of us. Like we were all up there behind the curtain last week versus Cleveland State, hoping they would have hit a game winner or tied the game to go to overtime. And then even when they came back and persevered and won the game the next day, it gives us fuel to our fire. I wish that we could have fans come be in the building to see both of us have a home game because what's the rarity of that?
And last one for me. How do you kind of handle these double headers? Did you like it? Not like it on back to back? I'm sorry, not the double headers, but the back to back playing, Friday, Saturday next week.
It definitely takes a toll on you, physical, like the physical wise. Mentally, though, you just have to stay strong. We talked about it going into the year, especially with scouting. The Saturdays always comes down to who can make better adjustments and what the players are going to do because the coaches don't really have that much to do. You just play the same guys for 40 minutes the night before. So I kind of like it just because you get the games, you get the series over with. I do believe that the Thursday, Saturday is better just because you get that day of rest and you get another day to completely prepare. And I also like the home and the ways. I miss traveling sometimes and going to different cities versus having the disadvantage of playing in somebody's home gym twice.